Hello everyone, my name is Sampath and I'm going to give a presentation on qualitative process analysis. Qualitative process analysis is a business process analysis which combines art and science, and in this way the processes uh, inter would be updated and also can be changed as to the user requirement. And this is qualitative process analysis. Similar to creative arts like painting, there's just one way to create a good process. Instead, there are a number of principles and strategies that help us identify the actions that usually result in one. We first describe two ways to identify wasteful steps and sources of waste. We could see them in the coming slides. Then we present techniques to recognize and document the problems which we have in the current process, and then we take out different various angles of the issues we have, and we investigate them, and also we find out the reasons for these problems. So, coming to value-added analysis is a method for locating pointless processes in a process with intention of getting rid of them. In this sense, a step could be an independent task or a component of another task. Frequently, one activity necessitates multiple phases. We may evaluate each stage in terms of value if it brings after the breaking the process into different individual steps and identifying what is good, what are the successful steps, and what are not. Some steps do not directly add value, so they can be deleted or removed. So by removing all these unnecessary steps from the business process, we could save a lot of time and money, and this is called value-added analysis. So value-added analysis has different steps. Value-added analysis involves segmenting each task into series of processes such as preparation, execution, and handoff. Then we group each action into one of the three groups, including value adding. Uh, so when determining whether or not a step is value added, it may help to ask the following questions. When would the customer be willing to pay for this step, or that the customer has value for this step or not? And after doing that, will the customer be conducting business with us or not? And if you remove this step, would the customer perceive the outcome of the process if it's valuable or not? So this is value adding. And about the business value adding, this step is required in order to collect revenue or to improve more income or to grow our businesses in the organization. So what we look into this business value adding is, would the business suffer a long term loss or a long term growth if we remove a particular step. And coming to non value adding, these steps is not a value added or not a business value adding. It's totally separate from these two, and it's not related to any of the above. Coming to waste analysis is the opposite of value added analysis. It's totally different from value added, whereas the value added is a positive way of thinking, positive angle, but the waste analysis is totally negative. So it tries to find waste everywhere in the process. Some of these wastes can be traced down to even minute steps, and which can be hidden in different processes or different layers of steps we go through day-to-day operations in our organizations. So waste analysis is one of the key techniques which is integrated in various management organizations such as lean management, which we can see it's been used in almost all the bigger companies and higher management right now, and which has been proven very helpful all throughout the organization. So the waste is classified into seven categories, and these categories are grouped into three different categories to make it easier for us. And three different types of waste would be move, hold, and overdue. Coming to move, not all transportation waste in the process can be eliminated. In particular, the transportation of equipment cannot be fully eliminated. For example, to reduce the cost of physical transportation, we patch together several deliveries. And the second type of waste is related to motion. Motion refers to a process of participants moving from one place to another during execution of process. Motion is common in manufacturing process where workers move places from uh, one place to another place, and one production line to another production line. Coming to hold, we can also generate waste by having excess materials which are more than required to our production. The first type of hold waste is called inventory. Inventory waste arises whenever we hold more inventory than what is really needed. Another type of waste is filling would be under waiting. In manufacturing processes, waiting waste occurs. For example, when unfinished products come out of the production line, one production line to the other production line, and it's been waited for the next line to start working, that's considered as waiting waste, and that comes under hold. Overdue, this is the third category of waste. This is related to overdoing of products, overdoing of production of multiple products. So the first overdue waste is called defect waste. The defect waste refers to all work performed in order to correct, repair, or compensate for a defect in process. So the stakeholder analysis is one of the important analysis. It is It is a frequently used project management technique. This analysis is typically done of the beginning of project to determine who might be interested in it and hence contribute to or influence or affected by it. Stakeholder analysis is commonly used to gather information about issues that affect the performance of process from different perspectives. There are typically five categories of stakeholders: the customers of the process, the external parties such as suppliers, subcontractors, which are who are involved in this process, the process owner, and the operational managers who supervise the process participants, and the sponsor of the process in improvement, uh, who who are the executive managers who have a stake in the performance of the process. Issue register. This is a logical step into categorizing and record these issues as well as to evaluate their impact both numerically and qualitatively. So the stakeholder analysis allow us to identify issues in a business process from one multiple perspectives. The logical next step is to categorize and record these issues as well as to evaluate their impact both numerically, for instance, for money or qualitatively. An issue register is a listing that provides a detailed analysis of each issue and its impact is in the form of table with a predefined fields. The following fields are typically described for each issue: name of the issue. This name should be kept shortly, typically 2 to 5 words, and should be understandable by all stakeholders in the process. Description, a short description of the issue, for example, 1 to 3 sentences, focused on the issue only and the consequences or impact it has on it. Priority, a number which is given such as numerical number, starting how important this issue is compared to the others. Data and assumptions. Any data use or assumptions made in this estimation of the impact should be shown. And for example, number of times a given negative outcome occurs or estimated loss per occurrence of negative outcomes. This has to be recorded and shown. Qualitative impact, a description of impact of the issue in qualitative terms such as impact of the issue on the customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, long-term supplier relations, etc. Quantitative impact, an estimate impact of issue in quantitative terms such as time of loss, revenue loss, or which avoidable clause which could have been avoided, such as that. And the other fields may be added to an issue register. For example, in view of process design, it may be useful to include an attribute possible resolution that describes possible mechanisms for addressing the issue. Pareto analysis. The aim of Pareto analysis is to identify which issues or which causal factors of an issue should be given priority. Pareto analysis rests on the principle that a small number of factors are responsible for largest share of the given effect. A small subset of issues in the issue register are likely responsible for the largest share of the impact. For a given issue, a small subset of factors behind this issue are likely responsible for the largest share of occurrences of this issue. So when we go to the big charts, we could see a big chart at that at this particular point. A, a type of chart that can be used as complement to Pareto charts in order to take into account the difficulty dimension as a big chart. PIC is also an acronym standing for possible, implement, challenge, and kill. These are the names of four quadrants big chart has and categorized into. In a pick chart, each issue appears as a point, and the horizontal coordinate of a point captures the difficulty of addressing an issue, and different issues are graphed on this but on this pick chart and divided into four different quadrants, which are implement, challenge, possible, and kill, and accordingly those are graphed on the chart. Root cause analysis. It's a collection of methods known as root cause, aids in analyzing and locating, comprehending the underlying causes of problems or unfavorable events. Business process analysis is not only the application of root cause analysis. In fact, the root cause analysis is frequently utilized in accident or incident analysis as well as in manufacturing processes, where it's used to determine the primary reason for a product's flaws. There are many different methods that make up to root cause analysis. These strategies typically involve protocols for holding workshops and interviews with pertinent stakeholders as well as tools for gathering and organizing the ideas generated during these meetings. Cause effect diagrams. So the diagrams of cause effect show the connection between a certain negative impact and its possible causes. A negative effect in the context of process analysis is typically either a persistent problem or an unacceptable level of process performance. In cause effect diagrams, factors are grouped into categories and possibly also subcategories. These categories help to guide the search for potential causes. One option to organize the discussion is to start by around the label, going around the table and asking each person to share their ideas, their thoughts, and probable causes or contributors to the current problem. So, as well as a well-known categorization for cause-effect analysis are so-called 6Ms, which are described below with possible subcategorizations. And we could see the image for cost-effective analysis, and each category divided into one and given the issue. So, different type of different subcategories in cost-effective analysis are machine. It's factors pertaining to technology use, like for example, software failures, hardware failures, network failures, etc. Method, it's a process that factors stemming from one way of the process and understood in a different way. An example of this would be given in a participant. If a participant A thinks that another participant B will send an email to a customer, but the participant B does not send it because he is not aware of it, and which could affect the whole process. Material, factors stemming from raw materials, consumes, and or data required as inputs by task and process, like incorrect data leading to wrong decision and while it's being executed. Man, factors related to wrong assessment or an incorrectly performed step. For example, claims handler accepting a claim even though the data in the claim and the rules used for assessing the claim require the claim to be rejected. Measurement, factors related to measurements or calculations made during the process. In the context of an insurance claim, an example of such factor is one where the amount to be paid to the customer is miscalculated or due to an inaccurate estimation of the damages being claimed. Milieu, the factors stemming from environment in which the process is executed, for example, factors originating from the customer, suppliers, or other external factors. YY diagrams. The goal of root cause analysis is to identify the chain of causal relationships that result in a certain consequence. YY diagrams are a technique for structuring brainstorming sessions, for example, workshops for a root cause analysis. Once the issue has been identified and a name has been agreed upon, this becomes the root of the tree. So on the right, we could see a root tree diagram of a issue which is divided into contributing factor of different areas and different possible outcomes. This could be used to any different issue or any different diagram. So recap. So overall, we have gone through in this presentation is selection of techniques for qualitative analysis of business processes, value-added analysis that allows to identify steps in the process and do not provide any value to the customer or the business. Present A complementary technique which allow us to identify different types of waste. Technique to collect issues from multiple perspectives, namely stakeholder analysis, as well as the template to document these issues in an issue register. And different types of issue registers have been discussed. The issue register provides a starting point to build up Pareto charts and pick charts, which are two visualization techniques used to create and analyze our different processes in our management or organization. The two techniques to uncover the causes behind a given issue, namely cause effective analysis and why analysis, where you could see the tree diagram, how it's been used, and for what point it's been used. And, and this would be my end of this presentation. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.